Hello, future chemists. Welcome to this exciting session on chemical bonding and molecular structure. Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating concept, resonance. This topic is super important for understanding why molecules behave the way they do and is a key concept for GME. We'll start with the basics, then move through medium, hard, and hardest levels, building your expertise step by step. Get ready to uncover the hidden stability of molecules. Ready to unlock the secret behind some surprisingly stable molecules? Let's begin our journey with the easy level of resonance. So, what exactly is resonance? Imagine trying to draw a molecule, but no single drawing seems to fully capture its true nature. That's where resonance comes in. It's a theoretical concept where we use multiple simplified structures, called resonance structures or canonical forms, to describe the delocalization of electrons within a molecule or ion. The actual molecule, called the resonance hybrid, is a blend of all these structures, more stable than any single one. Think of a mule, a hybrid of a horse and a donkey. It's always a mule, not switching between the two. Similarly, the resonance hybrid is the real structure, with electrons spread out, not jumping back and forth. For resonance to occur, we need a special arrangement called conjugation. This means you'll find alternating single and multiple bonds, or a multiple bond next to an atom with a lone pair or an empty orbital. For example, in the carbonate ion, the negative charge and double bond character are spread out over all three oxygen atoms, making them equally bonded to carbon. The double-headed arrow you see between structures means they are resonance forms, not in equilibrium. The actual molecule, the resonance hybrid, is a more stable, averaged structure, showing partial double bond character and partial charges where delocalization happens. Alright, let's test your understanding of these basic resonance concepts. Take a moment to read through these 3 practice questions. Try to apply what we've just learned about identifying resonance, counting structures, and the symbols used. Pause the video if you need more time to think. Good luck! Now that we've grasped the fundamentals, let's elevate our understanding. The medium level will delve deeper into the rules and factors influencing resonance. To correctly draw resonance structures, remember, only electrons move, never atoms. The total number of valence electrons and the overall charge must remain constant. Always aim to satisfy the octet rule for most atoms. We use curved arrows to show electron movement from a lone pair to form a pi bond, or from a pi bond to another position. Not all resonance structures are equally important, some contribute more to the actual hybrid. Structures with more covalent bonds, minimal charge separation, and negative charges on more electronegative atoms are more stable and thus contribute more significantly. Resonance provides extra stability to molecules, and this enhanced stability is quantified as resonance energy, or delocalization energy. It's the difference in energy between the real molecule, the resonance hybrid, and the most stable contributing structure. A higher resonance energy means a more stable molecule. This energy can't be measured directly but is estimated through experiments like comparing heats of hydrogenation. Remember, conjugation is the key enabler for resonance. This includes alternating pi bonds next to lone pairs, or pi bonds next to empty p orbitals, each facilitating electron delocalization. Conjugation is the backbone of resonance. We've seen various types, like pi sigma pi systems in 1,3-butadiene, where pi electrons are delocalized across 4 carbons. Then there's pi sigma lone pair conjugation, as in vinyl chloride, where the chlorine's lone pair can interact with the double bond. Another crucial type is pi sigma empty p orbital conjugation, seen in the allyl carbocation, where the empty p orbital on the carbocation allows delocalization of the adjacent pi bond. These conjugated systems are what allow electrons to spread out, leading to the unique properties we observe. Time to apply your knowledge at the medium level. Here are 5 practice questions that require a deeper understanding of resonance rules, stability factors, and specific examples. Read each question carefully, draw out structures if needed, and try to explain your reasoning. Pause the video now to work through them. You've got this. Alright, it's time to tackle the more intricate aspects of resonance. Let's move on to the hard level. Resonance has profound effects on molecular properties. Take bond lengths, for example. In benzene, all carbon-carbon bonds are identical, falling between typical single and double bond lengths, a direct result of electron delocalization. This partial double bond character is a hallmark of resonance. Furthermore, resonance dramatically impacts reactivity. If a molecule can form a resonance-stabilized intermediate or product, its reactivity changes significantly. For instance, the acidity of carboxylic acids is enhanced because their conjugate base, the carboxylate ion, is highly stabilized by resonance, spreading out the negative charge and making it less reactive. Let's delve deeper into how resonance influences reactivity, particularly acidity and basicity. Consider aniline. Its lone pair on nitrogen is delocalized into the benzene ring via resonance, making it less available for protonation. This makes aniline a weaker base compared to simple aliphatic amines like cyclohexylamine. Conversely, phenol is a stronger acid than cyclohexanol because the phenoxide ion, formed after proton removal, is resonance stabilized by delocalizing the negative charge into the aromatic ring. This stabilization lowers the energy of the conjugate base, favoring proton donation. Understanding these effects is key to predicting chemical behavior. Now, let's connect resonance to aromaticity. Aromatic compounds, like benzene, are incredibly stable due to a special type of resonance in a cyclic, planar, fully conjugated system following Huckel's 4n+2 rule. While all aromatic compounds exhibit resonance, not all resonance-stabilized compounds are aromatic. Aromaticity is a specific, highly stabilizing phenomenon. However, resonance theory does have limitations. It uses hypothetical structures and doesn't fully capture the dynamic, delocalized nature of electrons as molecular orbital theory does. It's a useful model, but not the complete picture. Also, remember, resonance only involves electron movement, unlike tautomerism, which involves atom movement, usually a proton, leading to different structural isomers. You've absorbed some complex ideas. Now, it's time for the hard-level practice questions. These questions will challenge you to compare bond lengths, explain reactivity differences, differentiate related concepts, and connect resonance to aromaticity. Take your time to analyze each problem thoroughly. Pause the video and give these a solid attempt. You're building a strong foundation for advanced chemistry. Alright, buckle up. We're about to venture into the most challenging and nuanced aspects of resonance, pushing the boundaries of your understanding for G advanced. Welcome to the hardest level. Let's distinguish between cross-conjugation and extended conjugation. Extended conjugation involves a continuous chain of alternating bonds, maximizing electron delocalization and stability, like in a long polyene. Cross-conjugation, however, occurs when two conjugated units are linked to a third, but not directly to each other. This often results in less overall resonance stabilization compared to an extended system of similar size, impacting reactivity in unique ways. We also need to differentiate resonance from hyperconjugation. While both stabilize molecules through electron delocalization, resonance involves pi and lone pair electrons, while hyperconjugation involves sigma electrons, typically CH bonds overlapping with adjacent empty or partially filled p orbitals. Resonance is generally a stronger stabilizing effect. One critical concept at this level is steric inhibition of resonance, or SIR. For resonance to be effective, the p orbitals involved must be in the same plane to allow proper overlap. If bulky groups are present, they can create steric hindrance, twisting the p orbitals out of alignment, thus inhibiting or completely preventing resonance. This has significant consequences, altering bond lengths, dipole moments, and dramatically changing chemical properties like basicity or acidity. For instance, in highly substituted anilines, the lone pair on nitrogen might be forced out of conjugation with the ring, making the compound a stronger base than expected. This steric effect can override electronic effects. Resonance is fundamental to understanding heterocyclic compounds. In pyrrole, the nitrogen's lone pair participates in the aromatic 6-pi electron system, making the ring aromatic and the nitrogen less basic. In contrast, pyridine's nitrogen lone pair is in an sp superscript 2 orbital, perpendicular to the pi system, and thus not part of the aromaticity. This makes pyridine basic, as its lone pair is available for protonation. From a molecular orbital theory perspective, resonance isn't about shifting structures, but about delocalized molecular orbitals spanning multiple atoms, providing a more accurate and comprehensive picture of electron distribution and stability. This MO approach inherently explains the observed equal bond lengths and enhanced stability without resorting to hypothetical structures. Beyond Huckel's rule, advanced aromaticity considers anti-aromaticity, where 4 n-pi electrons in a cyclic, planar, conjugated system lead to extreme instability, and non-aromaticity, for systems that simply don't meet the criteria. We also have concepts like homoaromaticity, where conjugation is maintained despite a saturated atom interrupting the ring. Understanding these nuances is crucial for predicting the behavior of complex organic molecules. Resonance also underpins the stability and reactivity of various organic intermediates like carbocations, carbanions, and free radicals, dictating their formation, lifetime, and subsequent reactions in organic mechanisms. It's a cornerstone for predicting reaction pathways and product formation. Now for the ultimate challenge. Here are the first 5 practice questions at the hardest level. These require a deep synthesis of concepts, critical thinking, and often, an understanding of subtle effects like steric inhibition or the interplay between different stabilizing forces. Take your time, draw structures, and explain your reasoning thoroughly. Pause the video to work on these. You're doing great. And here are the remaining 5 questions for the hardest level. These questions delve into molecular orbital theory, advanced aromaticity concepts, and real-world applications of resonance in reaction mechanisms. Push yourself to connect all the dots we've discussed. This is where your G preparation truly shines. Pause the video and conquer these final challenges. Fantastic work! You've just completed an in-depth exploration of resonance, from its basic definition to its most complex applications. This journey has equipped you with essential knowledge for G-main and beyond. To further solidify your understanding and access more such comprehensive educational content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing chemistry lessons. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep aiming for excellence. See you in the next session.